Um, okay. So, uh,
So I'm working in the ED the other day, and I see everyone coming in with Subway, and I'm like, I have never seen the Subway. Like I've looked on Google Maps, there's no like close by food except for like the two bodegas, Dunkin', and the gyro place I always go to. That's all that is on Google. Oh, and Popeyes. It's right there too. Um, but I keep seeing people come in with Subway, so I'm like, oh, I guess they're all having it delivered. That's weird that all these people are getting the same delivery. Then I turn my head slightly more to the left than normal, and I see a yellow and green sign. It's fucking Subway, right next to the Popeyes.
why is everything like just like right there and it's just like, oh, I, all he did was like take the left or take the right for you. It's like you just spend your time looking down at the sidewalk.
I'm not even looking down. I'm just not going that way. It's the complete opposite way than the normal way I come into work. Because that's left. I come from right. Because the subway's from the right.
Sure. Okay. Well, I guess raw intro. I'm Rebecca,
And I'm Deanna. And we're
the Halfwit Sisters.
hello, people.
Welcome back. That came out less sincere than I intended it to. Welcome back.
Oh, this week is. It's been a week. It's only Tuesday.
I have family coming over tomorrow.
Fun.
They're going to be staying with us a couple days.
Oodles and oodles of fun.
Started my new job.
Hey.
I'm working with younger children. I'm working with children. They're right, and I work specifically with kids between the ages of like middle school up to about high school, mostly with middle schoolers though. And they've got kids range from anywhere between like being nice to being freaking sass clowns. Let me put it that way. Like there's no no other way to explain it other than that. Oh man. I really wish I could talk about it more, but I don't I don't want to get fired just yet. So when I start really talking about them, know that I don't care about my job at that point.
Oh.
But right now the kids are interesting in the sense that uh like it's really a joy to kind of watch them both like this sounds wrong, but watch them both struggle and then get excited about understanding what they're reading and get the question that they're trying to answer. Like it's really interesting to see the whole process in play. So uh and I only work 2 days a week. So it's not like it's a big part of my week, to be honest. So we'll see. If there's any funny anecdotes that I have, I'll be sure to share them. Okay, so our episode setup. We're going to be briefly recapping our previous episode. If you haven't already listened to it by now, it's long. It's it's about the length of a movie. So it's long. It's sort of emotional. I feel like it's sort of emotional. Definitely was emotional for us.
Yeah.
So we're gonna briefly recap a little bit of that. Then, DJ, you're gonna show off your lights, which you didn't do last time.
Yes.
Then we're gonna talk about, huh?
Yes.
Then we're gonna talk about generation differences because we found like this really neat chart that really, really is interesting. And then, of course, talk about the project that we're working on. So let's kick it off with that last episode. Briefly talk about that last episode.
News,
I
I'm
think it's a
recovering from my burnout.
yeah. I think it's a great episode when you really want to talk about burnout.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah. Um, we say a lot in that episode, and I think I don't want to get back into it because was a super long episode, and I don't want to get into that in this episode and like just
Hmm.
rehash things. So please go back and watch that if you haven't already. Um, and I think it's super important to make sure that you take time for yourself and make sure that you have days off, especially when you're working, um, well, not a hard job, especially in a hard job, but also when not a hard job, but just like an emotionally draining job.
Hmm. Yeah. We The thing that kind of stood out to us, the one other thing that stood out to me, I did a TikTok on it too, is talking about taking praise. And a part of it is also just like imposter syndrome. We didn't really get into that, but some of that is imposter syndrome and uh, not feeling like we've done enough, right? And one of the things that I really think that people struggle with is stopping and seeing like what you've accomplished. My phone is ringing. Sorry. Oh, it's mom. Hold on. Hello? Hi, mom.
Was calling because the flights for tomorrow morning are booked solid. So I would either have to fly tonight and or fly tomorrow night. So I was gonna try to see if I could fly tonight. I would get there on the 11 o'clock tonight.
Okay.
Flight. If I have no problems, because every time you fly to Dallas from Houston is always pretty hairy, So, but actually, the flight. Let me see. The flight I'm looking to catch is the 8 o'clock flight from Houston to DFW. Gets there by 9:30.
Okay.
So that won't be an issue for you.
No, not at all. That'd be great.
Okay, cool. So right now I'm trying to see if I could get on the 5:30 flight from here to Houston. Once I get to Houston, if I get the seat, I'll let you know. If not, I definitely have seats on the morning flight too. And then in that case, I will get there at 11 in the morning, 11 a.m. So tomorrow.
Okay.
So, but I'll let you know for sure.
Okay.
Once I get to Houston.
All right.
Looking forward to it. Is there anything you need while I'm here before I take off?
Nope, but I do need you to say hello to all our listeners.
What listeners?
We're recording right now.
Oh my gosh, you should have known my answer. I'm sorry. Okay, well, I'll see you tonight.
All right.
Love you.
Love you too.
Love
you.
Teacher says she loves you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. All three of them, including her.
Oh, there's one thing I broke down like my 10-hour days for work on like what that means I have to myself for myself in a day. I should not have done it. I figured out I have about an hour to myself every day.
Mm-hmm.
It is super important to take days off and self-care.
Mm-hmm. 3 years ago, I used to never have weekends at all. When I ran my own company, I made it a point to take my weekends back. I refused to do any work on the weekends. Even though I had people that were working on weekends, I told them, I was like, I don't want you to work the weekends, but they kept doing it. I was like, so you understand, you're making that choice. I'm not telling you to work the weekends. You are making that choice to work the weekend. They're like, yeah, no, I get it, I understand. But I refuse. I wanted my weekends back. So I worked very hard to take my weekend back. And even to this day, like, I don't do anything unless I really want to. I really don't do anything on the weekends but game. Like most of this weekend, I played No Man's Sky most of the weekend. That's it. That and Drake Hollow, which apparently is my new jam. Did a little bit of that. What was I saying before Mom called? Looking back at what you've accomplished. That's another thing I think is really important, even if it's pulling up your resume and seeing how many jobs you've had, even if it's looking at your blog and seeing how many posts you've done, checking out how many books you've written, how many fan fictions you've done. Like it's important to take a step back and look at what you've accomplished. You really, really do have to do that.
Or even not just like how many jobs you've had, because some people don't change jobs often because that's not the industry they're in. How long you've been at that job.
Right. How long you've been at that job, how many awards or accolades you've gotten for it. You know, those sorts of things you should really look back at. Just to remind yourself, look at what I have done in my lifetime so far. That's important. Yeah, so we're not talking about planning your life forward. That's a different conversation entirely. We're just talking about look at what you've accomplished so far and try, and we know it's hard, but try to take pride in that. Okay, so that was last episode. We're not going to go any further than that.
One last thing I did want to mention on that was the video on that. I don't know why it cut out, but like it randomly appeared and it started moving again at the end of it. I was like, but yeah, so that's why there's no video, is the video just sat there frozen the entire time.
So if you go check that out, I liked it. It's a good listen. Self-promotion, that's what we do here. So
shameless plug.
So go check that out. We're not going to talk about it anymore. That's the recap. On to the next topic.
Yes. Which is my lights, right?
Yes, your light show.
So I've had this one light for a while. It's what I use for like my key light on a lot of things. And it was just with like a daylight bulb, which is great. It's very bright. Bright like this. But when I was at Home Depot the other day, I was trying to get some more lights because for lighting, you really want it to be, you need like 3 lights, like 3 points. You got your key, your fill, and your backlight. So I was at Home Depot. I grabbed 2 more of these cans, which I can grab real quick. Hold on. These cans of work lights. It has a clamp, so you can just like clamp it onto a thing. And then I was like, I'll just use the daylight bulbs again. Yep.
Your
Hold on.
video cut out.
I know, I saw it. So I was like, okay, let me just go grab some more lights. But I've always wanted lights that I could like change the color of. And then I saw the hue lights that were there that are LED, and you can adjust them to be like daylight and warm light, as I've just like kind of fiddled with while I'm sitting here, because it comes with an app and I can make it change colors or do random things like turn off or have this like fun orange hue or make it do like party and change. And so I have 3 of them, and it makes me really happy.
Excuse me.
So I can now fiddle with that, which gives me a lot of control over since I can do it on my phone, it helps me better set up lighting when I'm gonna like film, because right now I have to set up the lighting, take a small video, run back, watch the video, see what lights I need to adjust, and then redo that again and again until I get the lights correct. Now I can just stand, look at the viewfinder, and go, okay, this light needs to go this way, this light needs to go this way, and it's finally
Nice.
less stress and not as expensive as like buying a softbox, which is huge, which one day I might end up having to get, because softboxes are like a great light source for filming, but are so big. And I live in a New York apartment, and I don't want to take up that much space. So.
Don't mind my tiny arm. It's a little cold over here.
If one day I'm able to like have like an apartment or a house that has like a dedicated filming room, then yeah, I would invest in getting like all the lights that I want. But for now, I will go with my little $10 cans with my $13 lights.
Awesome. Awesome. Speaking of like film equipment that we're using, it's like I mentioned last time that I have gotten my own film stuff. Well, a camera thingy. The pop voice. Damn, this is sensitive. Holy crap. Like, I'm filming with it. If I use this and my fan's going, you don't hear the clink, 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 clink. Right? This does.
Yeah, so our condenser mics are directional.
Right. I get that.
Which is why when I go over here, you can't hear me. But yeah, those aren't directional.
Holy crap. So I'm trying to shoot the video that I talk about where I talk about somebody told me that I don't know how to tell a story, and I went and got a master's degree, right? That's on my TikTok. And I'm trying to do this whole thing, and I realized I can't have my fan on, so I turned my fan off, and it got so hot in my room because my hair is down. So it's like, no, I have to turn my fan off because you're just gonna hear the clink, 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 clink. Ugh. The worst. The worst.
You need to put a little velvet or felt strip around it so it doesn't click.
Well, so normally it doesn't click at all. Except when I'm trying to do something like super important, and then the fan's like, "Hey, I exist." Like,
Every time.
yeah, I'm like, "Oh, now you choose to do it." Today, I don't have Jigsaw bothering me. She's at the vet.
Is she
Cotton's
okay?
here, huh?
Why is she at the vet?
She needs routine
Okay.
shots, cleaning. We need to get her ear checked out because she's got something's going on with her ear. I'm not sure what.
Okay.
That's the thing. Okay, so did you like show? Talked about Mark. On to the next generational differences. Should I just share the screen and show this chart, or just leave as is?
Leave it as is. I can take
Screenshot.
screenshots and put them in.
Oh. I found this. I found this. I found it, not you. I found it, and it comes from a really weird source, I gotta say. What source was this that I was kind of blown away from? West Midland Family Center. That's where it comes from. .org. I guess they put this together. But it's called the Generational Difference Chart, and it starts from 1900, and it goes all the way up to the 2000s, millennials. It doesn't really get into Gen Z because Gen Z is still trying to it's still trying to figure itself out. But has some really interesting things. We know about baby boomers. They're about 1946 to 1964. And then you have Generation 6, which would be Generation X, which would be where our parents are born in, DJ, which is 1965 to 1980. And then us, which is 1981 up to 2000.
Yeah. Which is funny because the current ages of these generations don't reflect when they were born. Because I was born 91, which makes me purely in millennial. But my age group, and it says it here, birth year's current age goes 29 to 43. I'm 29, or 28 to 43, and I'm 29. So it's like the birth year doesn't necessarily dictate where you are in a generation.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. So they would be putting me in Generation X.
Yeah. And our parents would be in baby boomer generation. Because they're in their 50s.
Yeah.
But they're like late baby boomer, early at Gen X, and we're late Gen X, early millennials.
Yes. But if we were to go off this chart, this particular chart, that's how they have it here.
Yeah.
And whatever chart you go off of, it's always going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have for whatever reason, I don't have the little window up anymore. I think I messed up. So I can't see your face whenever I close. So I don't see what you're doing.
You were saying that like there was something more to that. I was just like, what's happening?
No, I don't have your little face just hovering in a corner whenever I do my little things now, and I don't know why. So if you're like nodding your head, I can't respond, and I'm so sad. Or maybe I just need to... Oh, there you are. There we go. I just need to minimize a window. See, I'm totally a post-boomer.
You're totally a Gen X.
I'm such a Gen Xer. But there was one thing. So you go through this chart, and there's some jewels in here. There's some great jewels in here. So millennials got the digital media, a child-focused world, told typically grew up as a children of divorce. They hope to be the next great generation and turn around all the wrong. Right? So that's millennials, but there was one in here for Gen X that I about lost on. It was angry but don't know why. Angry but don't know why. And I was like, yep. Yep. I feel like that's a very big thing for a lot of both like our generation, but the previous generation as well. Like everybody just feels really angry and they feel angry at everything. At the world, at the establishment, at the lot that they've been given in life. And a lot of it is like they don't know where to direct that anger at. And they're just like shaking their fist at the world.
What I find funny is if you scroll down and go to core values, Gen X, it says one of their core values is fun. And then you go over to millennials and it goes, fun! With an exclamation mark. Did you see that?
I need to find it. Okay, core values. Fun, and then like, oh yeah, extreme fun, and then fun.
With an exclamation mark. Yeah. And there's just like a lot when you go through this chart where like because of where we fall in the generations being not fully in one or the other, like I see both. I see things that I resonate with on both sides and I just feel called out.
Yeah. And then you go and look at some, like in the baby boomers, you see personal gratification, and you just go on the nose.
Yeah.
Right? Personal gratification. 100%. Like, that's all they did. Spend now, worry later. Yeah. Yeah. Extreme loyalty to their children. I think that makes sense because as baby boomers were the first helicopter parents.
Yeah.
There's a term, but you haven't heard it in a while. Helicopter parenting. Helicopter parenting. That makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm like just like going through this is you're just like, yeah, I looking at this like, yeah, I see that. I understand why I can kind of see like the progression of what the generation moved towards because of what came before it.
You see like in generation they say like this is the first generation, not first generation, but mom's work. Like that was a lot more common in like as they moved into 1970s, 1980s, it was a lot more common to see women moving into the workforce. And then as a result of that, and it says here, you start seeing an increase in divorce rate, which leads to millennials typically grew up as children of divorce. So, like, here's the cause, here's the consequences. Cause and effect. they grew up more sheltered than any other generations as parents strive to protect, this is millennials, protect them from the evils of the world. I don't know about that. I mean, I would agree, shelter. I think that I agree a little bit with the sheltered, but I think it's harder nowadays to keep children sheltered.
Yeah.
I really think it's difficult to do that because there's so much media, because of just social media in general. I mean, this topic's a little bit dark. All I can say, if you feel like, have you heard what?
Trigger warning. Do not watch this past part if you have triggers with mentions of suicide.
Happened recently with Facebook?
No. I was going to ask if you had heard what's happening on TikTok.
It's probably the same thing with the guy who committed suicide.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, trigger warning for people.
Trigger warning. And if you feel like you are in a bad place, and you need help, we'll have down in the description like numbers you can go to. But there was a guy who took his life, and he did it on live on Facebook. Live on Facebook. And across social media, not just on TikTok, but across social media, people were taking parts of that video, specifically the part where he kills himself, and posting it across social media. On TikTok,
but hiding it,
yeah. On TikTok, people were taking that video and splicing it in to like cats and dog videos, and then splice in as to do like a jump scare or something like that. I never saw it. I saw the warning videos, but I never saw it.
I got 2 warning videos about it, and I kept scrolling because I was warned and I felt safe enough in my mental health to know that if it came across my feed, I knew to pause and report the video,
right?
Which I know is not something others can do.
Right. Right. So I don't think that's and even without that, like even without something like that, our media today that has stuff like Criminal Minds, what's that one on Netflix? Just stuff like this, stuff like Saw.
Yeah.
Like
our gore has gotten more realistic in our movies and our things.
You can't protect. Even our video games are pretty graphic nowadays. Like you can't protect against that. You can try as much as you want. There are sensors out there you can definitely put in place, but I feel like it is difficult to protect your child against it.
Yeah. The best you can do is just make sure they know that you are a safe person to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that scrolls across my TikTok feed a lot is there's this one mom who like gives kind of a parenting advice, but not in the you should do this. It's more of we've done this and these events are happening and I'm so proud of my child because I made sure that they knew to talk about their feelings. So like there was one where the dad had gotten mad and left the room, and the daughter turns to the mom and goes, "What was that emotion?" To try to identify it, so she knew that the dad wasn't like mad at her, but rather just frustrated and tired type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so important to do that. Is yes, you want to protect your child, but you can't. So you need to make sure that they have a safe space for you to come to.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know a lot of people never had,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
So I'm looking back in core values and underneath Generation X, suspicious of boomer values. And then underneath baby boomers, it's question everything.
yeah. It also says trust no one over 30.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's one under millennials, under core value. Now exclamation point. Now exclamation point. That's very so when we look at personal gratification, which is underneath baby boomer, right? And we see like they're like we want to spend now, worry later. We want to satisfy ourselves. And then I'm trying to look underneath like Generation X, like if they mention anything about like satisfaction, how they want things. And I don't really see it there. They have like self seek life balance. Um Mostly. Like that's most of what I see there.
Yeah.
But you can see like that now. And that comes with kind of technology. So under literacy, right? I think like now is kind of like the full evolution of from baby boomers, like personal gratification, spend now, worry later. Like that's the full evolution of now.
Yeah.
Because you have the one press button from Amazon cart. You have you have the go down this like what was it? There's a Starbucks on every corner. There's there's a McDonald's down the road from where I live. Like wherever you want, whatever you want is now a button press away from you.
Yeah.
Instant gratification is right there. And almost everything, not every, is there for you in an instant. Right. And a lot of our video games is driven towards that self-satisfaction as well, to give you that quick hit too. Not all of them, but most of them are. So like there's these things that I see that are like, well, here's the evolutionary process that led to this thing, and that's why we have this here. Extremely techno savvy. That's millennials. Extremely techno savvy. What else caught your eye on here?
So if you keep scrolling down, you'll see work liabilities. And I guess this is just them going, here's what you can expect from your employee if you hire someone in this demographic. It's like work liabilities. Now these are for the millennials. It says inexperienced.
Inexperienced?
Yeah. The age group for this is 8 to 27. Yeah, a lot of them are gonna have some inexperience. In work liabilities for Gen X, lack people skills, no long-term outlook. Millennials, lack of skills for dealing with difficult people, which just makes me think of Karens.
Which is funny because underneath boomers it says dislike conflict. Which Karens typically come out of the boomer generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure I agree with the liabilities.
Yeah. Because there's stuff like lack discipline, need structure. And it's like with a lot, but like if you go back up to what they're looking for in a job, I think. Yeah, flexible schedules, want to be evaluated on what they put in. No, what they put out rather than what they put in, which I don't think is there. I think it's work ethic or something like that. It's further up the page. It's like you can get some super hardworking millennials who won't put in a lot of time, maybe, but like they're, or not put in a lot of time, whose output, the product they output, the job they output, doesn't seem to. I forgot what I was trying to say. The quality of their work can be better than someone who spends a lot of time. It's like that's why they don't want to be there all the time, because they're like, I need 3 hours to get this job done and do it well and correct the first time. Why are you having me here for 10? Well, everyone else needs 10 hours. Well, I'm not everyone else. I'm my own individual person. Which I think just kind of sums up millennials and their, there was something on here that's like literally says individuality or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Value. It goes traditionalists, which are before the baby boomers, are family and community. Baby boomers are birthright. Gen X, a way to get there. Or, sorry, oops, I went up. Hold on. Values. Family and community. Values for baby boomers is success. Values for Gen X is time. And value for millennials is individuality.
Well, that's because when you hit Gen X, they start to tell you you can do anything, right? You're special. And this millennial generation is raised on the idea that we can become astronauts. Your camera's gone again.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so the reason we were talking about this chart
Did
was...
you stop the recorder?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So the reason you found this chart was because we were looking at Ethan Ward, the boss, being a boomer or Gen Xer.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
So instead of just going through this and just like going, which if you have time, you should definitely go through and just like see this, because there's just a lot of interesting things about the whole chart about the generations. Super interesting, but like we don't need to go through and just like read everything. It's 11 pages long.
Yeah, it's got some good stuff in here, and I was enjoying the hell out of it. I'll admit. And it's kind of what I was using to really just nail in what I was wanting to kind of draw out for what we'll get into here in a bit. Ethan Ward, who is the boss of Belladonna. So I was enjoying reading this. Okay. So yeah, that's I'll put a link in the description for you to check it out for yourself. And again, this isn't like, I'm not going to say like this is the definitive chart for generational differences. There are all sorts of charts out there. This was just one that was pretty detailed and I was enjoying. If you guys have one that you refer to often, please link us to it. I'd be happy to check it out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next topic. Oh, well, it's funny enough. We're actually on pace. Now we are on now we can actually move to our Belladonna talk.
And your character bios.
Yeah, I feel like you should just take that whole rant I did earlier and just splice it over because it was so good.
Okay.
So just do that, and
Yeah.
this is
So
after that.
for the viewers at home, Becca thought this was going to be our cold open,
But I was too good to be the
but
cold
it was
open.
more involved than a cold open really should be, because our cold opens are all just really short stories of our ridiculousness. Mostly
Yeah.
mine. I've done more cold opens than you.
Well, you have a job and an
True.
actual life
I'm out. I'm about and about
outside
more
an
now.
apartment. Like, I don't have anything. Like, if I thought about it, the cold open I could have done today was how I spent time tearing my bookshelf apart looking for a pocket dictionary on grammar. If I thought about it, I didn't think about it until just this second. Anyways, so
But
I'm
so
not.
here's Becca's little rant on her character bios.
Okay. So Google has the G Drive has this way that you can add templates. Like Word has the same thing. You can add templates to the drive, to the format. Last night I kind of went a little crazy and could not actually work on the bios until, like, the character bios, until I absolutely had a character bio template I was absolutely happy with. And when I tell you, like, I could not do this work until I had this template done. I mean, like, I started in Google, and then I was like, hey, let me make a Google form, and then I can like have it just like spit out like a thing for me. That way I have an automated process and I never have to worry about making this ever again. And I was like, no, that's like dumb. And then I went, why don't I just go and download a template? But then I was like, no, that's not good enough because it's not one that I came up with. So I was like, all right, well then let me just try and add these pictures in. So I was using, the pictures that you sent me, and I was putting it in there. And I was like, all right, well, now I need to put like what this picture is. So I put your henchman picture in. And I was like, I got to put this henchman tag over there. But Google Docs doesn't have the text box like Word does. So my brain was like, well, can't do it in Google Docs. So got to go to Word for that. So I deleted that file, went to Word to do it there, but I was like, no, we're supposed to be doing it in Google Docs. So I broke again, deleted the Word doc, and started again in Google Docs. It was like an hour and a half had passed at this point, and I hadn't gotten any further than where I was at. And I was just losing it. At one point, the husband walks in because the wife at that point had gone to bed, and the husband walks in. And he's just seeing me like at the computer, just going, "Oh," and he's trying to like give me solutions. And I'm like, "No, you don't understand the hardship of what it is to be a writer." He's just like, no. He's like, no, I get that. I'm just saying, maybe if I just sit down and work as your like speech to text machine. And it's like, no, I work too hard to be a writer. I have to be the one to put the words on the page. He's like, all right, I won't suggest it anymore. So anyways, that's a long thing to say. Let me just share my screen here and I'll show you what I did. Let me know when you can see your face. So this is what I came up with. This is the template I came up with. And
It's not sharing.
oh, come on. You're ruining the whole dramatic story. Let's go again. Start sharing. There we go. Should be sharing now.
Nope.
Never the first time with me. It's never the first time at all. Try this again. Start sharing. One more time.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Almost. There's like a giant gray block in the middle. There you go.
Okay, so this, despite the technical difficulties, this is what I came up with. So, what this kind of will change, but this is kind of what I came up with. So, personality traits, positive, negative, family, and then like dramatic breakdown. So that can be anything like the loss. That's not how you spell it. The loss of a loved one. Had a mental breakdown or something that changed the way they were dramatically, right? And then motivation. So this is what my brain came up with. I just wanted something simple, and that led to so that's the best part about this is if I make a change, I keep opening it. If I make a change in this template, it'll make that change because it's in the template gallery. So if I make any change here, the next time that I go and use that template, that change will be there. I don't have to re-upload the template again, which is great. So I'm super happy with that. So I went through all of that. So like an hour and a half later, I finally had this template. And you can kind of see, so you can go to our master doc. And I started writing, and I did give Belladonna a last name now. So now you can kind of see what I have here for some of the characters. So it's still a work in progress, but a lot of it was just because my brain broke down because I absolutely had to have this done. And that's what it was. And I tell you a lot of times, like, I just have to have a process. I have to have this process. In other words, I can't move forward and create. And that was exactly why what did happen here. I just could not move and create the next character or work on these bios until I had a template in place that allowed my brain to free itself so that I could just write what I needed to for each of these. So like Skylar Valks. Oh, no, that's wrong. Well, I'll show one more, and then I promise that'll be the end of our opening.
I don't think this is so much of a cold opening.
Sorry, but I'll just show this last one. So like this is like once I was able to break it, I was like, yes, finally I got it done. So roll intro. Yeah. Okay, I don't know what we left off on that part. So I'm just going to say we got to Skylar Vox, I think.
Yes.
Okay, so I went and did that whole template. Right. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully it doesn't crash the thing.
And it worked the first time. Hey!
All right. So Skylar Vox is also our player. I think we decided on this last time.
So we talked about how instead of Jackson and Jill, Jackson would be the non-binary character and Jill would be the player. And then we also had to figure out the official names for these two characters.
Yeah, so I've done that. I also gave Belladonna a last name. So Belladonna Hugh, Ethan Ward, Skylar Vox, and Parker Duffy. So these are who I have so far. Uh, I didn't get them all written out, at least in the script here.
Yeah.
I didn't get them all. I got most of Skylar done, pretty much. Well, I got Skylar done at least. So, and I like Volk, really, because that means people. That's
Nice.
it. So I was like, well, if I'm gonna have this be the player, it works out. So Skylar, intelligent people. That's what that means. Intelligent people. There you go. Uh, so Skylar Volk is pretty much our player character. It's the avatar. And since I'm not having any really gender identity added to these characters, added to this character in particular, it was really hard to actually write this bio. And it's the reason why I focused on this bio in particular out of all the characters, because I really wanted to make sure that I got my head wrapped around this. So I have some basic things for us to kind of reference as we go through and start kind of making our scripts for them. Like, I thought it would be really neat to have Skylar have like two brothers and a younger sister. Also have Skylar's favorite series be like how it's made. Just because we have Skylar being like a weapons expert.
Yeah.
I forgot, what did we say they were?
Weapons developer, tech person.
being a weapons developer. I should put that somewhere. I'll add that later. The weapons developer. Occupation can go somewhere in here. So the weapons developer. The other thing you're going to notice with a lot of the characters is even though they work in and I thought I'd build this off of our theme that we have with Belladonna, is that they're not bad people.
Yeah.
They just happen to do bad things. So for like Skylar was raised with 5 children. Apparently, I can't do math because I said too young of. So
4.
Right? Yeah, that's right. The 4 children raised with a stay-at-home dad, right, who made it his mission to encourage each child to pursue their passion, and a Michelin star chef mom who made sure, like, oh yeah, no, that was right. Her children learned the value of a good meal. So, like, they clearly did not have a bad childhood.
Yeah.
And then, like, they're a fan of the series, how it's made, and being fascinated by like how everyday household items were created. That launched their love for just like how to like take things and build things and like get into computer science, and that like propelled them into getting involved with like underground projects in technology, right? So that's how that goes. And then of course you have the basic relationships that I put in there. So best friend and coworker is Belladonna. Crush is Parker. Enemy is Delta. And then I got to the dramatic breakdown. And like I said, the dramatic breakdown is just like either a loss of loved one, something as like a mental breakdown, or something that changed them in a way they changed dramatically. It didn't have to be anything. Like maybe they just spilled coffee on their shoe and they're like, I hate white shoes. I'm never wearing white shoes again. And that's why they wear black boots all the time now. Something like that. So when I was writing this one, I don't know what took place or how my brain just decided, but I'm going to read this to you. I'm gonna let you decide how you like this, okay? At
Okay.
first, college seemed like the best place on earth, the place to grow and learn who you are. Then its nasty underbelly pops out like a frat boy's bear gut, and no matter how hard you try to look away, there it is, undulating on the dance floor after its fifth beer. That's when you realize that a college is a small place, as small as your high school, and if you want a real experience, then you had to actually go into the real world. Maybe it was the drugs, maybe it was the alcohol, or both. Either way, Skylar left the party, left the campus, left the town, and never went back. The the nasty underbelly pops out like a frat boy's beer gut. Had me giggling for hours.
Nice.
Like I was just giggling for hours. That was fun. But so this is, and then I have the motivation. So this is the player character, by the way. Tired of being overlooked and mistreated by at Sullivan, Skylar joins Belladonna at her new company and plans their very first heist. Having worked for Ethan Ward for over 5 years, they know the ins and outs of many businesses and former clients. Taking a page out of their boss's book, they decide to plan their first heist to get some quick starting capital for their new venture, with Belladonna being their face and Skylar being the brains. So this is the setup for the Choose Your Own Adventure. This is why the player is there.
Yeah.
And why we're having this heist, because they need to get the starting capital for their business. So now we have our motivation. If you're worried, like, what are we doing? How is this happening? What's this going on? The player is essentially, so you know Batman, right?
Yeah.
At some points they have a character that's Oracle, who's just kind of like in the like the man in the chair.
Yeah.
That's Skylar. Skylar becomes the brain of the operation.
Okay.
Skylar is Wayne from Kim Possible.
Yes.
There you go. So that's what our player is. Essentially Wayne from Kim Possible.
Okay.
There you go. So I haven't gotten the others fully done. Because like I said in my long ass rant, that didn't become the cold open. The others just
You got their template done.
I got the template done. And I have it all in my head ready to go out. So that's ready. And I know I can plan that out. So that's that. So Hugh meant something specific. I can't remember what it was, but I did give Belladonna her thing. I guess just open up. What are you doing? And once you send me a good picture of what her final look is, it'll go right in here. But here's what Belladonna is.
Yeah.
What I have so far. If I go based on, when I get to personality traits, if I go based on what you have in your script, she's mostly, if it goes through.
Yeah.
That's like it. She's mostly angry. like
Well, it's like slowly as like I write more in scripts, it's just like she's overworked. She's the only one working in her entire team.
It seems like that, but I guess in my head I have we both have kind of a different view of her. I feel like we both have a kind of a different view on her. And so I'm go when I was reading through, I was like, yeah, I can see some of this, but also at the same time, she's so angry all the time. And I'm like, when does she joke with anybody? She doesn't. And if she does joke, it's like, it's just to be like, to be angry again. Like, that's all it was. And in case in point, and I'll bring it up since we're already going to talk about this. I'm going to go to your scripts here. So I'll move to the scripts now. So we saw the Belladonna thingy. I'm going to go to her scripts. DJ, you had a lot to say about how this thing. Yeah. Shut up. Yes. You had a lot to say about how it sends you updates. You can actually fix that, by the way. So there was some wording that I changed here. Like, for this particular one, the context wasn't there, so I had to fix the context, right? You had just said, I'm making sure I know how to use the system properly. That didn't make a lot of sense. Like, why would you need to know how to use the system properly? Are you new to this job? What was going on here? And so I think that better context is it's a new system, so you wanted to make sure that this new system was up to code. And so I changed that out.
Okay, yeah.
So that makes a little bit more sense than him being like, don't be an idiot, you push the button. That makes like he's been there this entire time. His seniority makes him think like he knows how everything runs. So I did that. Then I changed this out a little just because this was just a little too wordy. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, like I had not like the only issue that I had with like how the Google gives me these notes, it's just like it highlights a certain word and goes, she changed this for this, and I'm like, okay, but I don't know what that word is from. I have no context to the.
Yeah. I don't. You don't need to tell me she added a.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was one that was like she took out a T. It's like, what? Where? So.
Okay. Where is? Okay, here it is. So this one is one that it's supposed to be a little bit more jokey, right? And haha, winter uniforms. We talked about using Belladonna's outfit to kind of highlight like how Belladonna's look is over sexualized, right? Because it's an old-timey boss, and it's part of the cliche of what Ethan is. So in this one, she jokes about her uniform. But I also felt like she's just joking about it, but it continues the anger train on this whole thing. So she goes, Parker's like, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, just cold." Looks her up and down. Don't the women have winter uniforms? You can be Belladonna, DJ.
Yeah. Haha, don't do winter uniforms. That's cute.
But
oh no, Parker. Our uniforms are designed to be enjoyed year-round.
by who?
By Ethan Ward. And any male we cozy up to for warmth.
Do you need warmth? I'm gonna go. Right, so I get that this is supposed to be jokey, but also it kind of lacks some of the joke. I don't feel like in these ones here where we have like her interacting with Parker or with Skylar, these are where we're supposed to have acting challenges. And I know this is before we said this is going to be an acting challenge. I think these are the ones where we need to really start thinking more on how we can make these parts a little bit more exciting so that people will want to be a part of this. I feel like Parker should be way more into this joke. And it goes so that like he takes part in this. Like he goes and when he realizes, oh, it's to be enjoyed year round, he joins in on the joke when he realizes, oh, I get it. Something like
Yeah.
that. So I think that's what we gotta kind of have to think here. And another one is like, let's keep it off the clock. I really think Skylar and Belladonna really should have just had some fun here, just at Delta's expense. Like like this should have been the time that instead of complaining about the amount of work that they have, they just should have had the time to really start making fun of Delta. Like that's how much they don't like how often he throws work onto them and just had fun on making like, hey, can you make that coffee for me? You got it, Delta. Hey, make sure it's got 2 creamers and then just like some complicated order or, something like that. That's a joke done by somebody else, but but something like that. Who is that joke made by?
Well, there's the one that runs around TikTok that goes, I want a mocha, ba 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 ba. What do you have? Tea?
Yeah. So, but something that would have really just allowed them to just show their relationship and also to show kind of like how much they hate him instead of just complaining about having to do more work. Right. Yeah. So that's what I feel like was missing there. And I know like these are just early things, but this is the reason why I'm like, we're slowing down. If we just take it as is and say, oh, these are just good enough, go film them, this isn't going to work. So let me stop sharing. That's why I'm like, this is a good start. You have an idea. Like, good start. But now let's refine these further. So for some of these, I really think we need to, especially if we're wanting to make these like acting challenges, we really want people to engage with these and feel like they can jump into these parts, then we really want to make those lines really snappy. We want them to be like, oh yeah, I really want to jump in. Like, that guy who does the old timey?
Yeah.
Right? We really want that to seem like, oh yeah, I want to play as Parker or I want to play as Skylar. So giving them lines that are really fun or interesting to be a part of is what we're shooting for. And I understand that's going to be difficult, but we at least have to strive for that.
Yeah. And I understand that. Like you said, these were early drafts. They're not the finished ones. They're not ones that are going to be like, oh, let's do this. Some of them might be, they're good as is, but a lot of these I sat down and wrote right before my burnout.
Right. Okay. That was also when you were like, we have to get it done because we're behind and da 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 da.
And I honestly, I still feel that way because we're 7 weeks past when we started doing this, and we're still not even anywhere close to being a quarter of the way there.
Okay. So I want to share something with you because I feel like I need to make sure you kind of also understand something from my point of view. I understand. I want to tell you that, okay. Your concerns are valid. I'm not taking away from it. I'm not subtracting from it. I understand where you're coming from. I want you to understand the other reason why I haven't been pushing as hard or why I don't feel like we are behind is because I have been struggling on my end, right? I still have a big creative block that I'm getting through personally.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a feat last night that I got that stuff done. I'm really proud that I got past that and got it done. Okay. I'm really happy that I've gotten some TikTok videos done. I haven't put out any content in a very long time, so getting TikTok videos done and getting these podcast episodes out and stuff like that, that's helped me a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from. I get that you feel like we're behind. And I want to help you get through that. But I'm also struggling on my end because I'm still trying to get past this creative block that I have.
Yeah.
And
I
I don't
understand
want
that, and which is why I'm not like, Becca, why aren't you doing this? Becca, why aren't you doing it? Because you're not doing it because I know you have this block that's happening, and it's just that doesn't stop me from going. I need to.
You're breaking up.
Is that better? Am I okay?
Yeah, there you are.
Okay.
There you go.
I understand this. That's why I'm not going, Becca, you need to do this. Becca, you need to do this. Becca, why isn't this done? Because I know you're there. But that doesn't stop the fact that because I know you're having this block, I'm trying to produce more to make up for what I feel is this lack of content being created, because this is a massive project that we're doing.
Right. And that's why, so we're both like, we're trying to compensate. like we both are like, we're aware of like what the other person's struggling with, and so we're trying to compensate. Like when you're feeling like you have to compensate for like what I'm lacking and struggling to produce, but I'm also like, you shouldn't feel like you need to, because like you should only do what you can do, is what I'm ultimately trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want you to feel like you have to make up for what I can't do right now. We're going to get there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're going to get there because we have set our minds to it. And if there's one thing that I know about the both of us, when we say we're going to do something, we fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like,
I also think I just have like, I've had several projects where I'm like, I have other people involved and we're like, we're going to do this, and I'm doing the work, and then it's just like, I'm not getting anything back from them, and then the project disappears, and I'm like, I don't want that to happen with this.
And I say, understand. We talked about this in one of our other episodes. Like we've been on that side. We've both been on that side. That's why we've opted for other things. You know, like I opt to write books. You opt to just do your own acting, right? Like I get it. And there's no way that I can put that fear at ease. I'm gonna be honest about that, right?
Yeah.
And there's no way that you can put that fear at ease for me. That is always going to be a little devil that sits on our shoulder. All right, there's always going to be that little doubt that sits in the back of our head. The thing that I want to make sure you know is that I don't want you to work yourself into a tizzy because you feel like you have to make up for me. All right, I don't want you to feel like that.
Yeah.
Okay. This is another Sappy time for sisters. Okay, so like, so do as much as you can. We're going to get it done because we said we will. It will be done. That's one thing I know about us, because when we say shit is going to be done, we usually get it done. we're not going to talk about the other projects that I have, because that's personal things for me. So, but we're going to get this shit done. Okay? And we talk constantly.
Yeah.
We do. We talk constantly. So here's... You've got one more week, right?
So basically what my work schedule boils down to is I ask for certain days off. I always ask for Tuesday off. Usually that's the only day but when I put in my request for time off, I just honestly think, oh, I know I need this day off, and if they can give me another day off, great. And I forget to put that, please pick another day, type thing into the email and get 2 days off. So they just schedule me for the 6 days that I said I could work.
Okay.
So basically, unless I ask for the extra day, I will always only have Tuesday off.
Okay.
I will also, for some reason, always, always, always be booked for 10-hour days, despite everyone else on those same positions working 8-hour days.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. This week there's one thing that my job's trying to making me do that I'm just not like super stellar about, but they've given me like 200 pages to do of these packets, and that's a fucking lot of work. And so that I understand what these kids are doing at this place. I pretty much, if you watch any kind of anime or like know any kind thing about like some Asian cultures, like they have cram schools, and that's essentially what this is. It's a cram school, and I am taking some of the packets that they're doing and learning, and it's a lot. So, I'm trying to balance that out by relearning basics of like grammar and English, and that's a lot.
It's like things you already know, but you do because you know it, not because you like know it.
Yeah, like I had to go and relearn noun clauses. Which is a dependent clause. It's just like, fuck, now I gotta go learn what a clause is. And now I gotta go learn what a dependent clause is. And while I'm at it, I might as well just learn what an independent clause is. And now while I'm at it, I might as well just go learn how they teach what a noun is. How they teach it noun. And we grew up learning nouns as like people, places, things. Now they teach it as people, places, objects. Which makes a lot more sense.
Synonym, yeah, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, and there's a lot of work to be done, and I'm really not being paid for it. So
just remember, conjunction, junction, what's your function?
Oh my gosh. I don't even remember that song. Also, I never took classes where I watched that.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. I was taken out of class before those actually came on, so yay, learning differences.
Well,
okay.
I got taken out of a couple of them because they wanted to test me for the same stuff. So I didn't get to watch all of them, but I got to watch some of them.
Okay, so where are we getting at?
So we're both working through things.
Balancing act is what we're talking about here. Plus, trying to sneak in some TikTok videos. I'm trying to at least do like one a day.
Yeah. Which I'm so happy for you, but I want the time to do it too.
Oh,
It makes me so sad that I can't engage more on there because I'm actually really enjoying TikTok. And I'm like, they'll like these acting challenges will come up, and I'm like, I don't have time to film that right now. I got too much to do.
yeah. And I've been looking at all those ones that people have been pushing through about like what should you here are some simple videos you can do. Here's a content schedule you can do, and it's like I don't want to. Okay, anyways, so we were talking about what we're gonna try and get done. One, I want to try and alleviate this idea, you know. I'm trying to think it through. Like a lot of times my brain is like I need to have like this template thing. I need to have the template thing done so that my brain can like release it and I can just focus on the creative stuff. It's like I have to have the process done so then I can focus on the creative stuff. My brain just works like that. I've got the process done, now I need to work on that stuff. So I've got mom coming in this week. I want to address your worries though.
I mean, they're not gonna go away until until I have a filming date.
Yeah.
Because as it stands right now with my work, I'm gonna have to take a week off just so I can make sure that I focus on the filming and get it right. Because 20 videos, even if at a minute long, is gonna take me hours to film plus edit. And it's gonna take me a couple days to do each one because we have Henchman Belladonna that we have to film all four. We have the CYA, and then we also have the Belladonna villain stuff that we have to film and write. So it's like there's a lot that's going to happen.
Okay, I forgot one more thing I wanted to bring up with you. Did we need to also get art and a theme song done for Belladonna for the heist?
I think definitely a theme song would be cool. I'm gonna have to think on that because another part of all of this is just not even just the scripts, but that all is part of the sound and lighting and all these other like little things. Like I had the thought that okay, for all of the henchman stuff, it's going to be lit with maybe a certain color hue in the lights. And that way if we ever come back to it after all of this is done and do another henchman Belladonna video, I always know that color's in there. So it's like finding a color to fit her henchman, finding a color to fit her villain, finding a sound to fit that. And so it's like it's a thread that connects everything. So yes, definitely sound. I think a music to fit her. But I think that's more of 3 different sounds, like henchman, heist, her.
Mm-hmm.
And it finding.
I think we're just gonna have to go with like some free music because it'll get too expensive if we have to hire somebody to do it.
Yeah.
Especially if we're talking about like minute video, like a minute long or something like that. Like it's just gonna get too expensive.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody paying. We don't have like any funding for any of this. Like we're having to do it all on our own.
Yeah.
So okay. Well, let's wrap it up here. The rest of it we can chitter chatter
Yeah.
on another episode. So if you like what you saw
It's
or
another
heard,
very long episode. It's another very long episode. But if you like what you saw and heard, please like, share, comment, leave things down in that comment section down below.
hit the bell icon.
Hit the bell icon. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any ideas for little skits that you want to float our way, that'd be cool too.
Yeah.
But we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Peace.